Food War cast. This is a professional. Not even sure they're racist. But I'm gonna turn the music up. And I'm not sure. Please tell me they're different races. Okay. So I'm not sure which one is which, to be honest. It looks like Hiya is the Terran player, Maejang is the Zerg. To make it easier on me, they will henceforth be called Zerg and Terran, because that is easy. It looks like it's going to be top left cross positions on Floating Spirit, the maximum possible distance between these players. We'll have to see if either opts for a particularly greedy opener. Of course, they won't have that information early on, but it is a 4-player map. It's unlikely they're going to be scouted right off the bat. So, both these players, APM, I mean, obviously at this point, APM doesn't really matter that much. You don't need that much APM to get your SCVs to mine. There's going to be a depot at the front, so he's working towards a wall. On the other side, Zerg opting for no pool yet. He's got 200 minerals in the bank. That should be an OV finishing up as well. It is. As we see it being sent out. No scouts so far. No early scouts before 1 minute 130. Every single one of these workers is incredibly important to your mine. Unlike StarCraft 2, in Brood War, each worker does so much of your income, especially early on, and you only start with 4, so investing anything in early scouting can hurt you badly. Okay, the music is like ridiculously okay. As much as I like it. Okay, we can tone it down a little bit. Okay. On the other side, the barracks is on the way. We do have a refinery already invested in and finished. So this is going to be a tech opener. He's not going to be getting a command center right off the bat, at least not before his factory is under production. On the other side, Zerg opting for a hatchery first. And will it be a 3-hatch before pull? He's got 280 minerals in the bank. So right now, it seems like he has no intention of doing anything. Yeah, there's a 3rd hatchery on the way. So a pretty greedy build. Of course, he's got the wall set up with the double hatch on the low ground. So, oh, I'm doing the thing where you turn... It doesn't work in Brood War. I don't know any of the hotkeys, so... Okay. And I honestly couldn't tell you. It doesn't look like that's a hard wall, but I don't feel qualified to tell you what a hard wall is in Brood War. We've got the barracks and the factory next to it. I mean, obviously it will choke it off, make it difficult for Zerglings to get through, if it comes to that. It looks good, so we'll see. On the other side, a creep colony immediately on the way. He's going to be getting a sunk in because, of course... Wait. So I just learned, you know what I just learned? You can make creep colony before your spawning pool is finished. It does not require a spawning pool in order to build, and that is information I did not have, and now I do, so that's good. He's going to be able to get that sunk in almost immediately. He's mutating it now. And what is this? He's laying it on. 3 starports? Okay, this has to be Cloaked Wraiths. He's going to be going for the sneaky beaky bastard build. He's in cross positions. He's just scouting now. The Overlords, he sent his Overlord out. Now he's sending it back. I'm not sure. Maybe he wants to make sure he has detection at home. He doesn't want it to get picked off. He knows where he's not. The Overlords are not going across the map. He's just keeping them at home. Does he suspect something? I mean, Overlords are your detectors if he does go for Cloaked Wraiths. And this has to be Cloaked Wraiths, right? Like, you're not going to go mass Valkyrie? You can't afford more than 1 battlecruiser at a time, so... We'll have to see. On the other side, no metabolic boost yet. Is he starting... Does he have it finished? Oh, it's a Hydralisk Den evolving, I believe that is Groove Spines for Hydralisk range. As we see the first handful of Hydras on the way. It seems like he has an idea of what he's up against without actually knowing. He hasn't had any information yet. We can't really see the vision. But he has no information about this. He's not even going for Cloak. He's just going for the Wraiths. There's no control tower. There's no sort of research. The Wraiths are reporting, going across the map. And there are going to be a handful of Hydras here to defend, and without the need for detection. I mean, I guess Cloak against a person who can make Overlords for detection is kind of unnecessary. Well, yeah, the Wraiths do enough damage to kill workers in some amount of shots that I don't know. As he comes in, the Hydras, they already have their group spawns. Muscular Augment's on the way. The Wraith Micro coming in. He's not able to even get a single drone so far. This one had 2 HP. Close, but not close enough. The Wraiths continue to micro by. He's tucked in near to his hatcheries. That's only 2 Hydras. But he doesn't want to lose any of his Wraiths early on. On the other side, still no expansion yet. We've got a control tower underway. That's going to be 5 Wraiths joining up together. As Zerg just sitting back, a spore colony has been created to help out in the anti-air defense. Alright, there's no hotkey for that. Okay. The extractor is on the way. He's got a significant number of drones here. Spore colonies are already set up. The evolution chamber is starting to upgrade +1 ranged attack for those Hydralisks. And these Wraiths are just getting shut down at every turn. He's researching Cloak now, but there's already spore colonies. The only thing that's really going to do is keep them from moving across the map, or at least it seems so. Trying to get some more kills, but the Zerg is locked down tight here. It looks like there's no way to break through. Is it time to expand? He does have a bunker on the other side. He's scared of counterattack. I think he's realizing at this point that Zerg is opting for a more economic option. Is there a lair on the way? A lair is almost completed, so we're going to have to see, is this going to be a Lurker Den? Does he opt for the Spire? Spire against this many Wraiths? Probably not. We've got Lurkers on the way. Lurker aspect is evolving. So that means he's going to have those incredibly high damage options there. Alright, the Wraiths are being repaired. A pretty solid fleet, a squadron of Wraiths has been warped in. He's still building them. He's going up to double digits. He's sticking to his guns here, even though his guns seem to have been pretty much hard countered. A drone is scouting out, probably to make a hatchery in the corner of the map. And now we see joining up with the Wraiths there. And a dozen Wraiths. He will be able to do significant damage to the Hydras, but will it be enough? There's already a dozen Hydras down there. There's some more in the main, but this is a huge commitment into Wraiths that he might not expect. He's taking shots at... It looks like he's going for the drones. He can one-shot them now. He's got enough. I'm going to do a little bit of on-the-fly math here. His burst lasers do 8 damage. Drones have 40 HP, so just about 5 shots if they all come out instantly. 6 shots if they don't, because those Zerg units do regenerate, or at least I think they do. I'm not sure. Do they? They do in Brutal. Okay. Well, we've got a base. I like this. Not putting it in the corner. The corner's much too obvious. Puts it even closer to his Terran counterpart, because he knows the corner is going to be the first place he scouts. This base is unlikely to be scouted for at least a little while. In fact, he hasn't scouted anywhere. This first Marine, well, I say that, but I have no idea where this Marine... It looks like the Marine's going to the corner. So, the hatchery should pay off, and if he is able to get spore colonies, maybe Lurkers, well, there's no ground units, is there? Oh my god, he's sniping them off! God, the damage, I can't even tell. There's half a dozen Wraiths in there, at least. I think it's more like 9 or 10, but they're so stacked up you can't really tell. The squadron continues to shark around. The damage is real. The Hydra's taking some pot shots, but... Another one! Another one! The snipes! 475 APM, and these Hydras don't stand a chance. The Marine's still scouting around. The hatchery is nearly complete, but the Wraiths continue to shark in. And the Wraiths seem to outrange the Hydras by a small margin. Of course, their air units as well. The Marine still has yet to scout that hidden base. That could be the saving grace here. Of course, he can still produce Hydras. He has access to 2 bases. Terran finally expanding. Finally. But he's getting damage. There goes another Ovi. And another Hydra. This Micro. Another one. Oh, it looks like one Wraith will go down. Finally. This Wraith Micro is incredible. There's a queen nest on the way. I'm going to go ahead and talk about things I don't necessarily know anything about, but he's going to go for the ensnare. If he lands the ensnare, he should be able to finish off these wraiths. But without it, they're too nimble, they're too agile. As they dip and dive and dodge around wherever the Hydras are not, but this is a strong Zerg force. He does have Overlord speed. He's moving out with a couple dozen Hydras. He's got Lurker support. Zerglings, overrated. Just as Terran is trying to expand. So the Marines still... This base is incredible. There are 2 tanks on the high ground with siege tech. We haven't even talked about that so far. Because mostly I did not see them. But 3 with siege tech. Does he have any comm sets? He does have 1 comm set for detection. He's building another one. He does not have any other sort of detection. So if these lurkers get close enough, but I don't know if these tanks are going to let him. He's got an SCV at the front, giving that little bit of extra vision. The Marine is scouting in, but still has yet to find this base, or he would have sent the race over there to snipe it off, I believe. But Terran has successfully expanded. The base count evening up just a bit. He has that economy, those SCVs spread out between the bases now. The race continuing to shark around, but this mech army getting stronger. He's not building any more wraiths, so we just have the single factory pumping out tanks. That's all he can really afford, it seems. And then there's an SCV out on the map, doing a little bit more sniping. He realizes the Zerg is knocking on his front door. And are the race about to figure out what he needs to know? He sneaks to the side. Does he see the creep? Was he paying attention? I don't think he was. He had vision of the creep for a split second there. But he wasn't completely on the ball. That's going to be a very dead Hydra. You've got these starports lay idle. More barracks on the way. He's transitioning into bio from Sky Terran. There is a queen ready to cast all those spells that queens have. You know, the good ones that are important to have and help. Those are the ones he's going to cast. The queen trying to sneak back. It doesn't want to get sniped off by the air-to-air missiles. Oh, and the ensnare! But he is over open water, and the Hydras cannot swim. That has pretty far range. But still, this one base, this little bit of extra saturation helping out. He has a foothold on the other side of the map. The lurkers lurking in the middle of everything. Another army is moving out. He's still got some units, some Hydras to deal with these wraiths. The bio army is coming together. He's got Rex, he's got Marines, he's going for medics, and the tank count has grown to dangerous proportions. Of course, if he moves out into lurkers, that could be the end of everything. But if he sits back, he can still build up a very large army. If we look at the supplies, look at the supply, 183. But we've got Ventral Sacks completed. This is going to be a Hydralisk drop. At the same time, the race are sneaking in towards the main, but they're nowhere to be seen to shoot down these overlords. He's swinging around to the side. Will he go all the way to the main? There's no anti-air here. There's not a single turret, and all the tanks are sieged up at the front. This might be the move he needs to make. He's going to come in from a couple different angles. The cloaked race sniping off lurkers on the other side. The drops are coming in. He's swinging over to the left-hand side. He has another drop and another one. He's going for the front. The siege tanks are absolutely unloading. He decides to hold off on the drop. We've got the drop coming towards the main as well. The race are scrambling back to defend, but they're not here in time. He can drop right on top of the tanks, but there are a lot of stim Marines. He's not getting that drop out. Some Hydras coming out. The lurkers attempting the burrow, and they will get down. The tank count will be eviscerated. The front is down. There's lurkers in the back. There's lurkers in the main. There's lurkers on the tanks, and there's lurkers in the bank as he got a drop coming in on the front. The siege tanks are sieging up, but the Hydralisks are right on top of them once again. He needs to stim those Marines and get back in. It's now 75 to 80 supply. He's starting to clean this up. He has the medics, but the lurkers are doing absolute work. The race are finally back in action. The second base has been cleared of SCVs. The units continue to rally across as well. He's got more lurkers at the front. He got most of his overlords out. And Terran scrambling to defend now. He's down to 73 supply, but just in time, a science vessel pops out to be able to snipe off some of these lurkers. He's got time. He's spent some time dealing with this, but his supply is still all right. It is now 83 to 77 supply, and he did lose overlords. He was supply blocked. So this Zerg army can't replenish as quickly as he might like. Another comsat comes out, and it realizes maybe, just maybe, not the time or the place quite yet to place that down. Alright. And now we got a lull in the action as Zerg starting to realize maybe it's time to sit back. Maybe it's time to macro up. This Terran player still has a sizable force. He killed some SCVs, but not a critical number. There's still plenty of Marines. There's a handful of tanks, and the Wraiths continue to be this laser-powered thorn in his side. We've got another lighter drop, a lurker drop coming in towards the main, but this was spotted by the beautifully placed SCV. As the medics scramble back alongside the Marines, the Overlord will get gunned down with the lurker inside. The Wraiths going to work on the hatchery. That could take a while, but they got time to burn, especially after sniping that off. A double lurker drop coming in. The Science Vessel is there for detection. He will try to get some of the lurkers out. There's nothing there yet. A few SCVs will go down, but only 2 kills. Oh, he's trying to micro through. The Wraiths bringing this hatchery to 1/3 HP. Does he have Cloak ready? He actually loses a couple of the Wraiths. He's down to... I honestly... Are they still stacked up? I think he only has 3 Wraiths left. So they're finally getting cleaned up. The Science Vessels growing in number. But the real question is, has he done the research for them? I had a better joke for that, but I couldn't come up with it on the spot. If there is a Radiate, he could potentially get what he needs to kill this army. The siege tank's in the right spot. There's a forward hatchery. Defilers consuming Hydralisks for that energy. The Dark Swarms could be critical. The Ensnare coming in. We've got a Irradiates on the Lurkers. 1, 2. The Dark Swarm going to protect them. The tanks at the back, but the Irradiates are going to take out several of those Lurkers. Another Irradiate coming in. That will kill the Defiler. He's moving forward. The Dark Swarm is on top of the front lines. He's trying to move into it. Are there any Lurkers underneath? It doesn't really look like there are. It looks like our Terran player has put up a solid enough defense. And I'm trying to select, there are no Lurkers under there. All right. These smoke grenades do pretty well, but it's now 85 to 91 supply. The Wraith's going to reduce that number by a little bit. They can still take out these drones pretty cost effectively. Some Hydras are scrambling back to defend. But he's tearing across the map. This hatchery should be taken out. There's just a couple Lurkers at the back. The Marines and Marauders have +1 upgrades. On the other side, it's 2-1 for the Hydralisks, but the tanks are sieged. The Lurkers are in the back. They're ripping through the front line, but the tanks are obliterating the Hydras as well. They're trying to get on top of these tanks. A beautifully placed Dark Swarm could make all the difference as all of these tanks are underneath it, and he's going to lose several of them. The Queen comes out, lands an Ensnare as well, but there's still Hydralisks killing all of the tanks. The tanks are the backbone of this army. Just Marines and just medics are not going to cut it. The Hydralisks have 3-1 now in the upgrades. Is there an Ultralisk Cavern? I do not believe so. But the cost effectiveness and just the sheer number of bases, as these Marines start to realize, they don't really do very much damage. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay, so what happened is everyone's units under Dark Swarm don't take damage, not just Zerg units. I was like, wow, they haven't killed those tanks yet? Well, that's because the tanks also weren't taking damage because they were also under the Dark Swarm, and I didn't realize that because I don't know what I'm talking about. Well, we've got another Lurker drop at the back. He clears out the base. Let's look at the kill counts. Only 2 kills. He pulled those SCVs off in time. A Comsat will go down. This is pretty much an all-in counterattack. It's 81 supply against 94 of Zerg, but a lot of that supply is on the opposite side of the map. And he might be in a position to base trade a Terran. The Science Vessels are coming out. He has some dropships here as well. I'm not sure what that noise was. He's pushing forward into this third base. He hasn't found the base on the right side. He hasn't found the base on the top right. And these, from the very start, could make all the difference. The Lurker and Defiler defense is being positioned outside the natural. He's pretty much, well, he finally cleared up everything at his own nat to Terran. But is it too little and is it too late? 96 to 86 supply. The Dark Swarms come out. One Irradiate on the Defiler, but the Swarm was already placed. And a Science Vessel will be eliminated. Yeah, and just continuing to expand all around the map. He's just getting stretched into so many different angles. If he had found this base with the Wraiths earlier, if he had found this base, that could have made all the difference. But unfortunately, he did not. Now the Hydralisk moving across. They have 3-2 upgrades against just 2-0. Is there anything? Nothing on the tanks. The Lurkers are getting in front. Do we have a scan? You have a scan immediately. Targets down the Lurker. Another one coming up to the front. The tank's still the backbone of this defense. He has a couple dropships. They're going towards the main. But it's only 3 tanks. It's only a handful. 4 science vessels. But the dropships are gonna be... They'll make it. Not even close, baby. But what is in these dropships? Just a bit of marine medic. There's not tanks. There's not anything particularly critical. But going for the front, the science vessel's getting caught a little bit out. He doesn't lose any. He gets an irradiate on the defiler. He's trying to snipe it off. He's tearing through the front. Down goes the defiler mound. The evolution chambers. Zergus scrambling to defend. Is this the push he needs? It's 59 supply against 86, but he's tearing through 2 different sides. Are we going to get any irradiates out? Do we have the energy? It doesn't look like there's quite enough energy for any irradiates. He will pull it back. The dropships will be cleaned up, but there are still tanks at the front. The Hydralisk Den is under fire, but we have a stim on these Marines. Not quite yet. There's barely anything back at home to mine, just a handful of SCVs. Another drop is coming in to clear up the rest of what little mining is left. The main base is mined out. There's still a Lurker here. The rest of the Terran army is trying to go forward. There's an irradiate in the front, but a Dark Swarm will protect a lot of these Hydras. The drones will be pulled off the empty mineral line, and despite pushing all the way across the map, it does look... Wait, he's not done yet. It's 68 to 34 supply. Another science vessel going to be sniped off. There are 3 medics in the back looking very, very lonely right about now. It does not seem like there are any more irradiates. A handful of Marines. There's no mining. And GG, as Terran will tap out. That was quite a game. Not a bad game. Now we've got another. I don't know this map, but oh my god, that's a great replay name.